Good day, my name is Angelo and this is Channel Up. I have updates on something that we have really neglected for a long while, but I can't neglect it no more, all right? Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, far away West Africa, has done lots of things, and then I felt that the political limelight that has thrown itself upon him is so glaring that it can't be ignored. Now, aside the fact that this is or this feels like something politically embedded, all right, I would love to start from a point of view where lots of Africans and lots of people in the world do not know. I will tell you all you need to know about Captain Ibrahim Traore before we go into his reforms. Stay tuned. Now, for a very long time, Burkina Faso in West Africa has always struggled for sovereignty, all right? So the emergence of Captain Ibrahim Traore seems like a new chapter in their life, all right? Now, follow me gradually so I'll unfold what I have for you. Captain Ibrahim Traore, now the transitional president, if what I will call him is right, of Burkina Faso, is not just another military leader who came to power through force. Now, he represents a powerful wave of discontent, hope, and ambition for true African independence in a world where leaders often emerge from political dynasties or elite classes. All right. Now, Traore's journey from humble beginnings to the highest office in his nation stands as a kind of potent symbol of change. His rise tells the story of a young soldier driven not by personal greed, but by a kind of a profound sense of duty to his homeland and to the African people at large. Don't get it twisted. I am going to a particular direction, and before or till I get there, you won't be able to predict what I have for you. Now, Ibrahim Traore was born in 1988 in the town of Bondokoi, located in the Mohun province of Burkina Faso. Coming from a very modest background, he experienced firsthand the everyday struggles of a normal, ordinary Burkina Faso citizen, or let me say Burkina Bay citizen, if you that is what I'll call it correctly. Sorry, I'm not from Burkina Faso, so you have to forgive me. Now, growing up during a period of the political instability and economic hardship, then deeply shaped in his worldview, in his own kind of view, he pursued his early education with determination, eventually earning a place at the then University of Ouagadougou. Now, where he studied geology, something more of geography and physics, all right? Now, however, the call to serve his country in a more direct way led him to join the military, a decision that I feel would later alter the course of his life, just as we're seeing now. We were into the past, don't forget. Now, Traore's military career began at the Kadiogo Military Academy, the KMA, one of the main training grounds for Burkina Faso's armed forces. If you are conversant with West African military operations, you will know this. His commitment, intelligence, and leadership qualities quickly distinguished him in a very short while amongst his peers. He specialized in artillery and was later deployed to the northern regions of the country, where extremists and let's say what I would call insurgents had been terrorizing local populations for a quite number of years. All right. Now, these frontline experiences hardened his resolve and gave him a first-hand view of the failures of the state apparatus to protect its people. Now, it was on the battlefield, not just on a political office, that Traore learned the realities that would shape his leadership style. That was according to him. Throughout his military career, Ibrahim Traore developed a reputation for bravery, discipline, and a strong sense of justice. Fellow soldiers spoke of him as a man who did not seek privilege or comfort, but instead shared the hardships of war with those he commanded. His leadership was not based on rank alone, according to his colleagues, but it was based on respect and through action. These qualities would become central to his later political philosophy, just like we're seeing right now, going further to emphasize service over self-interest and national dignity over foreign dependency, just like what we're seeing right now in Burkina Faso. Okay, the political context in Burkina Faso before 2022 was one of increasing frustration and despair. After the ousting of then Blaise Compaoré in 2014 and a brief transition, the country fell into deeper insecurity under the leadership of the successive civilian and the military governments, of course. Now, President Roch Marc Christian Kabore was overthrown in January 2022 by Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba, who promised to restore security but failed to deliver. Now, as terrorist attacks multiplied and more territory fell into the hands of diverse armed groups, dissatisfaction within the military and general population reached a boiling point, what I would call a point of no return. Now, it was in this atmosphere of delusionment that Captain Ibrahim Traore led a second coup in September 2022 that year. That was few months after the takeover. Without widespread bloodshed, he and a group of young officers removed Damiba from power single-handedly, accusing him of failing the people and endangering the nation's survival. I'm trying to give you a brief account of the transition from civilian government to military government. In a televised address, Captain Traore cited the urgent need to put Burkina Faso back on the path of security, dignity, and sovereignty. Now, his message resonated strongly with a population tired of broken promises and fearful for the future. So I would say the coup went very well and smoothly because he was backed by the population of Burkina Faso. Now, Captain Traore's rise to power was not marked by the usual arrogance that often accompanies military coups or takeovers, if I will call them like that. Instead, he presented himself as a reluctant but necessary leader, willing to assume responsibility at a critical moment in his country's history. His call for unity and sacrifice immediately struck a chord across social classes, and he rapidly gained legitimacy among a large segment of the population. In the capital, Ouagadougou, and in rural towns alike, he was seen not merely as a soldier, but as a son of the people, answering a desperate call. I would say a desperate clarion call. Now, unlike many military rulers before him, Captain Ibrahim Traore articulated a clear vision rooted in Pan-Africanism and the reassertion of national sovereignty. Now, he spoke openly about the need for Africa to see itself, or to free itself rather, from the chains of neocolonialism. All right, his speeches often referenced the revolutionary spirit of Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's most iconic leader. But Traore insisted that his mission was not to imitate Sankara, but to continue the interrupted work of restoring true autonomy to his country, Burkina Faso. Now, central to Traore's ideology is a fierce opposition to foreign military presence, particularly that of former colonial powers like France. All right. Now, under his leadership, Burkina Faso ended military cooperation agreements that had allowed French troops to operate on its soil. He advocated instead for African solutions to African problems, emphasizing partnerships with neighboring Sahel countries like Mali and Niger Republic and all, who faced similar security challenges. Now, this marked a significant shift away from dependency towards self-determination. People found it hard to understand this at the onset, but I bet you with time, lots of people keyed in. Beyond the military and political arenas, Captain Ibrahim Traore has pushed for major economic reforms aimed at liberating Burkina Faso from the influence of international financial institutions and foreign multinationals, if that is what I can call them. Now, his government launched efforts to boost local production, strengthen agricultural self-sufficiency, and promote industrialization. Captain Traore went further to call on citizens to take pride in local products and to work towards a model of economic resilience that serves the interest of the people of Burkina Faso first. Now, under Traore's rule, Burkina Faso's foreign policy has become unapologetically Africa-centered, if that is what I would call it. Okay, he advocated for closer ties with other African nations, struggling against external pressures, and championed the idea of regional integration, strictly based on solidarity and mutual defense. That is, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. The creation of the Alliance of Sahel States, a security pact with Mali and Niger Republic, was a kind of concrete step in that direction, aiming to consolidate the region's capacity to face threats without relying on external powers. Domestically, that is at home, Captain Traore initiated wide-ranging reforms aimed at cleaning up government corruption and waste. He reduced the salaries of high-ranking officials and redirected funds towards public services. All these things are in the public space. You could look it up for yourself. And also, the military effort against insurgents was heightened. He emphasized meritocracy over favoritism in government appointments and demanded greater transparency from all levels of administration. Now, while these efforts are still in their early stages, they reflect a determination to break with the practices of the past, the practices that almost sunk the nation. All right, you could see this in the public space. The information about his reforms are everywhere. All right, so the military man is not saying no, he's not stopping anytime soon in bringing reforms to his country. Captain Ibrahim Traore's leadership style is characterized by directness and a kind of refusal to engage in the empty rhetoric often seen in political discourse, especially in his country. His public addresses are short, focused, and action-oriented rather than making grand promises. This military man calls for collective responsibility and hard work, constantly reminding citizens that the transformation of Burkina Faso depends solely on their own commitment and sacrifice as much as on the government action too. Now, critics, of course, there must be critics. Critics, however, have raised concerns about the concentration of power in the military aspect of the whole thing, or in the military as a whole in Burkina Faso, and about possible human rights abuses in the ongoing fight against insurgency. Now, Captain Traore has acknowledged these challenges, but insists that the country is at war and that extraordinary measures are necessary to safeguard its survival. Whether his government will find the right balance between security and civil liberties remains a critical question that I would always ask, and a critical question for the future. Now, this young president also faces significant economic hurdles. Don't forget the global economic downturn, rising inflation, and the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have all placed additional pressure on his young administration. Yet, Captain Traore has remained very steadfast in his message. I quote, "Only through discipline, national pride, and hard work can Burkina Faso carve out its place in a competitive and often hostile world." Despite the immense challenges, Captain Ibrahim Traore's leadership has reignited a kind of a sense of hope and national pride that had been eroded by decades of mismanagement, misrule, and what I will call foreign domination. Now, in the streets of Ouagadougou, if you try going across, and across the rural landscapes of Burkina Faso too, and other states in the same country, one can sense a renewed energy, a belief that perhaps for the first time in a generation, the future may truly belong to the people themselves. This is the perception of people in most highly populated states in Burkina Faso. Now the journey of Captain Traore is far from over, and the path ahead is very, very uncertain. Yet what is undeniable is that Ibrahim Traore has brought a new narrative to African leadership, one that emphasizes dignity, sovereignty, and self-reliance over dependency, submission, and lots of excuses. In an age where many leadership qualities are not seen, and many leaders prioritize their own survival over their people's needs, Captain Traore's example challenges Africans to imagine and demand more for themselves. Now, in conclusion, as a very strict observer of the African political landscape, I find Captain Ibrahim Traore's rise not just fascinating but deeply encouraging. Now, his call for true independence, both political and economic, is a call that resonates far beyond the borders of Burkina Faso, far beyond the coastlines of West Africa. All right, it speaks to the aspirations of an entire continent longing to stand proudly on its own feet. Whether or not he succeeds in realizing his own ambition and vision, Captain Traore has already succeeded in reminding Africans that true freedom is not given, rather, it is built. It is this spirit that makes his story one of the most important stories of our time. Now, listen, if you've been following this, I have more on Captain Traore. I decided to start from a particular point, that would sort of stand to be like the historical part of him, so we would have a very good footing. Stay tuned and follow us for more stories that are trending, especially on issues like this. If you've been enjoying what we do here, why not like our videos, share them. Don't forget to drop comments for us in the comment section. And then if you're watching me for the first time, tap the subscribe button, or you would do well also to tap the notification bell, so you will be among the first people or the first viewers and subscribers to see me when I drop a new update. Wouldn't you love that? See you next time. Bye.